You know, I liked what I saw out there in the scrimmage today. Obviously, I think we've improved a lot in 1 week. You know, offensive line is coming together. We're still working a number of combinations, so we got some work to figure out exactly who will end up being with the ones. But there has been, you know, some guys that have distinguished themselves, and that's good to see. As far as the quarterbacks go today, I felt like they did some really good things. They looked comfortable at times, and then they made some mistakes. So we got to get rid of the mistakes and get them to stay in a rhythm, distribute the football, and it was kind of a scrimmage where it was about throwing the ball. You know, I didn't really even try to run it too much. We mixed it up a little bit, but it was mainly to put pressure on the quarterbacks to make throws on first down, second down, and third down, and understand the sticks and understand, you know, the defensive looks. So it was really to put a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. Defensively, I feel like we're going to be a good team. You know, we can really rush the passer. Rankins and P.O. inside are very good against the run, which allows us to free our linebackers up, and we know those linebackers are real good players. So secondary still got to come around. Josh Harvey-Clemens is doing a real nice job for us. Shaq's doing a good job. You know, I think that the corners are competing. We got a lot of competition there to see who the starters will be. But all in all, I've been happy with our first week. You know, the attitude stayed good. You know, we had, I think, one day where it was challenged a little bit, but our leadership stepped up and we went out and practiced extremely hard. So I've been happy with our progress, but we do have a long way to go.
Who are those players that have distinguished themselves?
Well, Pedro's been doing a good job at both center and guard, so we certainly feel like he'll be one of the guys that end up playing there. I like what I see from Keola. He's a very powerful guy. He comes off the ball quickly. He's got to learn the offense, you know, so his mistakes end up being not having enough knowledge of what we're doing just yet. Both young freshmen are really talented. They're doing a good job, Kenny Thomas and Jaron Christian. You know, they took a lot of reps today. It was hard on them today. That's how we wanted it to be, to see how they play when they're tired. You know, I think that's the biggest thing our players understand is in the fourth quarter you're going to be tired. Are you still able to do what you're coached to do and play with great effort? So that's a lot what we were looking for today.
And the scrimmages or the practices that we were able to see, those guys were never, I guess, officially up on the first team. Have they moved up and played some?
They've rotated in there, yeah. And in the last part of the week, they've rotated in with the ones and the twos, and you know, we wanted to make sure they got against our really good defensive front guys. So, and they've held their own. You know, they're doing a good job. I'm proud of them.
How's the timing between the quarterbacks and wide receivers?
Still got some work to do. Yeah, I think that's the one thing, only being the first weekend, and then you get sore, and you know, you get two-a-day legs. It takes a while to get the timing back, so we still got a lot of work to do there.
How's health-wise with those wide receivers?
We're a little bit banged up. Jaquay was back out there today doing some work. Staples should be back out early next week. But other than that, we've had everybody available.
Does it make it difficult when a couple of your top targets are out and timing-wise?
I mean, it is what it is. In the game of football, everybody has to understand that when I get my opportunity, I got to step up and go and be ready to go. And we just got to keep moving offensively. And that's why we do so many reps in practice, is so everybody doesn't just see it, they get to experience it and play it. And, you know, we put a lot of pressure on those young receivers today. They got tired. You know, they couldn't believe how many reps we went, but it was great for them. You know, it was great for them to have to stay out there and play when they were tired, and they made some plays.
He continue to progress?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. I like him a lot.
What's Alfonso Carter's status?
We haven't had him out on the field yet. Kyle told me that he's getting closer, so hopefully he'll get closer. He pulled a hamstring in the summertime, and he's had a history of hamstrings. And it's something that, you know, we have to really take the time and make sure it's completely healed before we get him back out.
Chucky and Tobridge.
Chucky's been out there working the last couple days, and Keith came out yesterday and did some route work, much like when Devontae came back, then the next day he was sore. We were scrimmaging today, so he did get out and I think did a little bit of route work, but not with the quarterbacks.
About how many plays did you guys go today?
We went a lot. What was it, 174?
175.
175, so that's 3 groups. So, but it's good. It's good to have that many offensive linemen. You know, when you have the 3s out there, you're really working hard to see who can step up and move up the depth. And it was great for Lamar Jackson. He got a bunch of reps and showed his athletic ability, showed his arm. So it was good work. I was happy with how much work we got in.
Have you had one of the quarterbacks play better than the other guys so far?
Yeah, I mean daily. You know, daily. One guy steps up and has a great day, and you know, but we're in no hurry to make any decisions there.
Daily it changes. I mean, one day. It's
Well, I mean, one guy, you know, one day completes 75% of his passes in practice. The other guy has a little off day, so it, you know, kind of been back and forth. But they're certainly competing hard, and they're working extremely hard on getting to know everything we want them to do.
Was there one of the guys that played better today than the other guys?
I have to watch the video. You know, I have to watch the video to see that. So there's a lot of things going on out there. You know, you really want to watch the video before you say anything.
When it's back and forth like that, and then you add in a freshman that's been impressive, does it make your job a little difficult when you're going to set that depth?
You know, I'm going to say exactly what I said before. I feel a lot better today than a year ago sitting here because we had 0 experience at the quarterback position. So with 3 guys that have been in games and big games and won with, you know, I think it's great. I think it's great for them to go out there and compete. I think it's great that they have to take advantage of every rep and every meeting that they're in.
Is it becoming a situation where you feel comfortable the number of guys are in there that you can go in and win ball games?
You know, we have a number of guys on the offensive line, a number of guys on the defensive line. We just got to try to understand that I treat quarterbacks just like every other position.
Is it a 5-way race or is it maybe 3 guys?
Yeah, I mean, they're competing every day. They just go out there and compete. You know, I'm not thinking of it that way. I'm trying to see, let's get them better. You know, I don't sit down every day at the end of practice and go, okay, who's the starter today? You know, what we say is this is what he needs to improve on. Guy, he's doing a good job here. You know, this is what he needs to improve on. But boy, he's really done a nice job in this area. So we try to just take them as one person, say what they do well, what they need to improve on, and then let's attack the next practice and the next day and just leave it at that. And, you know, try not to have you guys make too big of an issue of it. Yeah, you are. You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. I appreciate your effort.
Any freshmen who've really emerged?
Well, the 2 offensive linemen have really done a nice job. Gigi Robinson continues to get better. He's not playing as fast as you need to yet. I like both of our safeties. You know, they're going to be really good players. It's how quickly we can get them ready. Devontae Pete had a good day today. Jalen Smith's had some good days out there catching the ball. And, you know, the size of those guys and their hand strength really helps them. So we'll get them ready to play. I would anticipate them playing.
How quickly is Fields getting it?
He had a good day today. You know, I think Coach Grantham's doing a nice job with him, understanding he's not in the same physical shape as everybody else on our team. So he gets him in for some reps and gets him out to rest and is managing him so he doesn't get overly sore, but he is really sore. You know, but he's a guy that can play football. He knows how to play the game of football.
Can you see already what made him the kind of player he's the defensive player of the year?
Yeah, I mean, he's got great lower body. He can really bend. I thought today I noticed that, and I'm watching more offense, but he stood out and having knowledge of what the offense was trying to do and being able to make plays. So that kind of jumped off without watching the film. It seemed like he knows, you know, a lot about the game of football.
All right, Coach, ready?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.